Today we'll be talking about Bam Margera and how he's going outside yet again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm Rugburn.
And I'm Pickled Landon.
And this is Tombstone Tourist. So today we'll be talking about Bam Margera, and I feel like he hasn't been in the news in a positive way in quite some time.
I wouldn't say his influence overall was ever positive, but...
Well, at one point he used to be worth, I would say, upwards of $50 million. He used to be highly influential. When I was in junior high, he was influencing how everyone was dressing at the time. He had everyone in those heart monograms or hexagrams. Yeah, the hymn sign. So I don't know. I feel like he was very influential and everyone wanted to be him at a certain time frame in the early 2000s.
You gotta be him. I'm him. I'm / him.
You are not him. You are not him.
No.
You are not him.
No, I'm not him. I'm just him.
Ever since, I don't know, his friend died, Ryan Dunn, I feel like he's been on a very hard sloping downward trend. And it just seems like controversy after controversy after controversy. And here we are yet again with another controversy. A bit of a family dispute seemed to have happened with him, and I don't think it's going to be too serious for him, but it does kind of pile on to all the stuff that he's been having.
Yeah, it's like a spiral down, and I wouldn't say this is the cherry, but it's another chapter in a book that's really hard to read. Do you want me to kind of go over some of the facts and stuff?
Yeah, let's get into the facts.
Bam Margera has turned himself in to Pennsylvania State Police after a warrant for his arrest went out on Monday, April 24th, following a physical confrontation. Police had been trying to speak with Margera since they were called to a resident in Pecopson Township on April 23rd. Jesse Margera alleged that Bam attacked him, struck him in the head multiple times, and threatened him.
I mean, that's more than your average, brother dispute, but I don't know. The threat afterwards is what I would assume made them want to call. And obviously he's been on and off drugs. Even some of the Jackass stars, I can't stand him. And I just feel like he is the common denominator in all of this. It always is back to him. You know, when one person dismisses you or is tired of you, it's up in the air who it could be. But once you start seeing the friends own you, the family disown you, and just everyone kind of separate themselves, you need to take a look inward and just kind of realize, I'm messing things up.
Yeah, because logically, it can't be everyone, and you're the one that's right.
Yeah, there's no way. It just doesn't work out that way. I'm afraid he just has main character syndrome, and he still seems, from video clips I see of him, it still seems that he's still trying to bully people and just kind of get away with that Jackass kind of vibe that was cool back when he was young. But everyone's 40, 50. They're not really trying to do that anymore.
And you have to think, even the dude Jesse, he was a member of the band CKY. Bam's exposure to fame was real early in life. And in his 20s, he was doing the Jackass stuff like that. And so I think when Ryan Dunn died, I don't think he really knew how to handle anything like an adult. I don't think he'd ever really dealt with adult situations. And so when that hits you as an older man and you've never had a base to kind of build yourself off, you've never really dealt with death in that way, it's a downward spiral. You just abuse drugs and alcohol. And
yeah, I would say the money just made it to where he never really grew up. He just was stuck in a constant place of immaturity. But let's get back into what we got here, some of the facts.
Yeah, so Jesse states that a letter from Bam was left in the family home that read, "If you fucking think of calling the police on me, I will officially fuck you up." Jesse goes on to say that he then went downstairs to find Bam peeing into the kitchen sink, at which point a fight allegedly broke out. After the brawl, Jesse goes on to allege that Bam said, "I'll kill you. I'll put a bullet in your head." Jesse also told police that Bam allegedly said he'd kill everyone in the house.
So if Bam wasn't the way that he's been on TV and on video all the time, I would argue that maybe it didn't happen. Now, it is still alleged, but at the same time, I do feel that this fits the profile of Bam, who's on and off drugs again. He's erratic. The peeing in the sink thing seems something right out of Jackass, so I can see him doing that. All this seems very plausible for Bam to do. And the man just needs help. I think a lot of this is a cry for help.
I think you see a lot of this in the way that his friends from Jackass treated him, where they would reach out and say, "We want to include you in this. You were part of this when it started. But in order for you to do this, we're going to need you to be clean, sign a contract to say you will be clean for the entire production." And he couldn't follow through with it, and they got rid of him in production. That was a whole separate litigation issue that they had amongst themselves. But it shows that, at least to me, that he's been given in my opinion, too many opportunities.
You're saying possibly that something along these lines has happened before, and it maybe has gotten to the point of seriousness where they wanted to involve the police. And, maybe it's one of those things. Maybe getting locked up for him might change something. Unfortunately, I do believe that he still has enough money left over to where he's going to be able to fight this and manage to stay free. Will he be able to stay off probation? I don't know. But I do think that he's not going to do any serious time over this whole situation.
I don't either. And I find that upsetting because I think that maybe a little bit of time might help push him in the right direction, because that would be maybe the first repercussion he's ever dealt with, at least consciously.
Yeah.
You can throw ultimatums at somebody all day. That doesn't mean they're going to do it. But if you actually have somebody sit out and do some time for something that they did to somebody, I 100% believe Jesse Margera that he did this, especially the peeing in the sink and saying, "I'll kill you." This is just an expression of behavior as rage as opposed to being comedic and prankster-ish.
Yeah.
He was that way doing the pranks.
I'm Bam Margera, and I feel like kicking my dad's ass all day today.
Come on, man. I gotta go to work. Jerk off. Stop it. Come on, I gotta go to hell to work one time. Stop it. Stop it. Hey, hit me in the nuts.
It's easily to see him that way in anger or in fuck you mode, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, there was that video that came out not long ago of him yelling at his girlfriend in a restaurant and having a huge outburst, which I think is wildly embarrassing for both parties and just everyone involved in that situation. So
I think that speaks to the mental health thing you brought up earlier. He's incoherent in that video. You can't tell what he's saying. He's just kind of and he's screaming stuff. You can get little bits and pieces out, but it's generally unintelligible.
Let's get back into the current situation.
So after he left the note, it says that Bam took off into the woods before the police could get there. And so that's why the warrant was issued for his arrest. After turning himself in, he was preliminarily arraigned and his unsecured bail was set to $50,000. His next court hearing is going to be on May 25th. Now he's looking at a few different charges if they stick. He's looking at 4 counts of terroristic threats with intent to terrorize, 1 count of simple assault, and a final count of harassment while subjecting another to physical contact.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is hope that he learns from this situation and he betters himself. Like I said, I don't believe that this is enough money to break him. He was so rich at the height of his fame. I would like to believe he still has some of it left, and he might get residuals from Jackass and Viva La Bam and things like that. So who really knows if he'll learn from this or if this is just going to be another chapter in the downward spiral that he's continuing to have. And,
So if you want my take, I think this isn't going to do anything. I think he's been here before. I think he just turns the other cheek in a kind of a bad way. I think it goes in one ear and out the other. I don't think it's going to do anything. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit of a victim syndrome. Everyone's just picking on Bam. But, it is what it is. You can't only help those who want help. So, with that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let us know down in the comments below. Do you think Bam needs mental help? Do you think he's just crazy? Do you think he actually did these things that he's accused of? Let us know down in the comments. I'm Rugburn.
And I'm Pickled Landon.
And this is Tombstone Tourist.